This is a high-level overview of a real intervention. Names are changed to protect the innocent. Real company, time, place, names changed. So the company, it's a manufacturing company, makes products, and it's been competitive and successful for many years. But its leadership detected signs that caused worry and commissioned extensive benchmarking to determine the cost competitiveness of the whole organization. In other words, what is it costing this company to produce its products compared to its competitors, many competitors and best possible. And it turned out that the costs to produce were very high, much higher than the leadership had anticipated. And the biggest single cost, no surprise, was labor. Now, we know that in for-profit companies that labor makes up by far the biggest expense. It's way highest expense under the best of circumstances. So labor costs are always a concern. So from this benchmarking, the leaders determined that the very future of the company was in jeopardy because of labor costs being too high. So thus the intervention begins. So the leadership took a look at labor costs all across the organization and said, let's try to resist the knee-jerk reaction of just running out and laying a bunch of people off and firing people. Let's look first for a structural change that will not only fix our labor costs in the near term, but will protect us in the long term, put us in a competitive position for the long term, and created a structure that changed the way that labor is paid across many job levels. And as for reducing the total number of labor, the leadership determined not to fire anyone, but rather to use attrition and to let the labor reduction play out over a period of months and years while changing the structure of pay at the same time. Your challenge, should you choose to accept it, is number one, what type of intervention is this? What area? Is it a human process intervention, a technostructural intervention? Would you call this an HR management intervention, perhaps a strategic change initiative intervention? What's the category of this type of intervention? Where would you put it? Second, by listening to the broad actions that the leadership took, and of course there were many change initiative leaders involved in making this happen across many levels. What type of OD techniques do you think you see being used here to accomplish this change? Then finally, what was the level of this change? Would you describe this as an organization level, a department group level, or individual level, or some combination of each and why?